Hey, what's going on, friends? My podcast every day is broken up into two parts on the free platform. The first part, Act 1, is right now. When it's all done, go right on over to Act 2 to get the second half of the podcast. Thank you so much for checking out my show. Welcome in to the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. Day 2 of tech meltdown on the radio side of things. Whenever I talk about this, I'm always afraid that I get into the weeds and just, share too much that is irrelevant. So I always have to dumb it down to some degree. God, this hair is ridiculous. Hang on. If I have the brush nearby, I can get it to look the way I want it to, but it's still, it's messed up. I need a haircut badly. I am not at all pleased with this. Megan says, did the dog eat the brush? Well, yeah. I mean, of course. Not only did she chew the end, she chewed off some of my rhinestones. My bedazzled brush. The hair is going to get cut tomorrow, and I am toying with the idea of hacking it all off. It's just a pain in the ass. But I'm not here to talk about my brush. Yesterday, there was tech issues that kept me from broadcasting my Q100 morning show. We got those resolved. Brand new set of issues today that made the audio, like I have all these songs I can play, and I go to hit like the Beatles, and it sounds horrible. It's just something's off. There's something wrong. So I had to I'm using that word that everybody uses. I had to pivot. I did my pivot. And the pivot was successful enough to make it so that I could broadcast, but I'm crippled. Long story short, technological disaster, and so that it puts a wrench into all my plans. Now all my attention is on that. I don't get to prepare, so I can just tell you right now that I always have something to talk about. But I like to usually lay them out. All right, I'm going to talk about this, that, the other thing, and then that, and then talk about that. And then I have it all in my brain as to what basically I open up the windows, and in the order that they're open, that's what I want to discuss with you if I don't have anything personal to talk about. I haven't done any of that. In fact, it was 3 minutes before the start of the broadcast, and I had not yet fixed my hair. And that's unacceptable. Again, I start right at 10. So I started right at 10, and then for some reason, I got the impression that Twitch was not twitching, and I restarted the whole damn thing. Thus, a couple of minutes late, which is, again, unacceptable. Now, the radio station that I broadcast from up there is 2 hours and 40 minutes away from where I sit. With the piece of gear that may be faulty, we're toying with the idea of how to get it into their engineers' hands, to take a look at it. Which, by the way, I gotta plant this seed right now. Bear with me. Any chance anybody could meet me in Cadillac to drop it off? ? If we go that route. Look, I'll drive this machine up to you, this computer. No big deal. I mean, I am planning for my vacation. I'm leaving Sunday, but I'm ahead of the game. I've been working ahead, and I've been crushing it. I talked to you about how you got to work ahead. And I've been doing that. Today was a little rough. By the way, Big Fraud Thursday commences at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Who are these freebiers? Followed by the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. Always a good time. And you can check it out for free at patreon.com/Eric Zane. 7-day free trial for you. So then they're like, all right, well, I even offered, I go, look, I can drive it up there. And you just heard me texting with him. I could meet you halfway, give you the PC, and then I come back, and then it's in your hands. Now, I don't know anything out of that or what the hell we're going to do after that. I even said, look, you can come here and work on it if you want. All right? The NFK will let you in. You might have to make him lunch, but he'll fall in love with you. It'll be great. You'll have stories to tell. You will find out all the different places feces and peanut butter can emerge randomly. So then they go, look, we got an even better idea. I go, okay, what is it? Why don't you do your show Friday from up here in the Northland? Now that's beyond the wall, okay? You're going past the Night's Watch at the wall, and you're into wilding territory. These are Game of Thrones references that some of you get, not all of you. And I'm like, look, no bueno. That means I get up at 3 a.m. Why would I do that? And besides, I have a podcast to do Friday. I am not doing that. There is no way, no how. Messes everything up. I am this close to the finish line when it comes to getting ready for the big trip, getting in the fraud bus. It's bad enough that I've got the anxiety of the fraud bus. You got to build yourself up for these things. Because I don't know if that thing's going to break down in butt-fuck Egypt on the way to Tennessee. It's probably going to break down in some holler and end up being pushed behind somebody's shotgun shack where we'll be raped repeatedly, never to be seen again, and it's just going to blend into the landscape with vines and trees and shrubs and shit overgrowing, and it becomes part of East Tennessee lore. That's what could very well happen. So, all right, that's my day today. And while I'm getting set, it gets right up to the hour to start, the minute to start this podcast. And I go, I literally don't have shit to talk about. Okay. Yesterday, I touched on some really, really hard to talk about stories. Again, proving how legit I am. All right. And I do this every day. And I'd say with no hyperbole, nobody has a better ability to talk about horrible stories and make them able to be processed more than me. We had the horrific story out of the Walmart parking lot where the two chicks and a 1-year-old, this is somewhere in Mississippi, some shithole in Mississippi. And one of the chicks, they called the cops and said, hey, man, she didn't pay for these diapers. So the cops show up, and then they fired a bunch of rounds into the car, and they shot the lady who they think stole the diapers, and they shot the baby, too. The 1-year-old child died. And now the mom is, devastated. This is a horrible fucking story. Right away, the cops are like, oh, yeah, she hit the gas. She was going to run us over. Now, we've seen some liberties taken with that in the past when it comes to a scenario like this. You had that chick in Minnesota, Renee Good, was her name. Her and the dog, they were like harassing the ICE agents. And then the one lesbian said to Renee Good, "Get out of here. Drive away, honey. Drive away." And so she did. And the ICE agent, he jumped out of the way. And as he was doing that, and he filled the car and her full of lead. And she died. It was awful. That was when ICE was just murdering as many people as they could in Minnesota. You remember that. It was awful. My point in bringing that up is that's what they're going to use. They're going to say, "Well, she's trying to kill me with the car." Stand by. But now, the mom who lost the child, she said, no. First of all, she paid for the diapers. Okay. By the way, Cole with a horrible comment. Now she doesn't need the diapers. Well, idiot. First of all, that's awful. Second of all, the lady who bought the diapers was not the lady who had the baby. She bought them. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. Okay. 2 women, one with a child. The one without the child with her buys diapers. This is according to the mother of the deceased. She said, "Oh, no, she paid for them." I don't know where the fuck that came from. Next thing we know, the cops are there. And she did not hit the gas and try to hit anybody. She backed up. All right. And while she was backing up, she bumped into a vehicle. She's probably very panicked. And then they filled her full of lead. They opened fire. And then the mother of the deceased, she says there's video that covers all of this. The cops' video, the store's video, it's all there. It should be released. Cole, with another horrible joke, says, "Can she return the diapers? Did she save her receipt?" Asshole, I just told you that the lady who died, wait a minute, the lady who got shot, her child wasn't there. She still needs the diapers. God. Anyway, this is the horrific story. Now, if I'm the cops in this community in Mississippi, now typically what they do is when they do shoot innocent people like this, they delete the video, all right? Or they just say, "Yeah, I don't know what happened. It didn't record." I am hoping that that is not the case. I mean, I don't want to see the video, but it needs to be out there. This should be resolved in an instant. Like 15 minutes after the incident happens, that video should be like made public. But I don't necessarily trust these cops in this shithole town to be forthright on this. Okay, they need to quickly get out in front. They need to throw that pig who shot that little buddy under the bus, and they need to release all this. I mean, unless if they're vindicated. And I'm guessing that these cops will not be vindicated. I'm guessing that they did do this. But it would not surprise me if nothing actually happens to these cops. Anyway, that mom is speaking out, and I wanted to touch on that. We also touched yesterday on the equally fucked up mom in Los Angeles and her son, who's probably like early 20s, live in a place in L.A., and they're New York Knicks fans. And mom sits down to watch the goddamn game with her dog. And it's a something doodle. And the dog even loves the Knicks. The dog's got the Knicks t-shirt on. The Knicks win. And she goes, "Yeah!" And some idiot calls the cops about a woman who screamed. So the cops show up. They knock on the door. And the dog is like, "Oh, my God, I love people. Oh, this is great. The Knicks just won, and I'm happy." He's wiggling his butt. And the dog gets past mom and goes out into the hallway. So he wants to be pet. So he's coming up and he's wagging his tail and his tongue is out and he's happy. He's going, hey, how you doing? So the cop shoots the dog in the fucking face and kills it. What the fuck? I don't know well, you got to say the baby is a worse thing. I mean, because it's a person, but this is just so bad. I mean, if I'm a cop, unless if I have no soul, but let's assume the cop has a soul. And I see that the dog is laying there and the mom is crying. I eat a bullet right there. I can't deal. Piano Finger Banger says, yes, there's the classic easy tact with telling a terrible story. What? What do you mean? This has to be talked about. Most people would avoid a story like this, but you got to tell it as it is. All you have to do is explain the facts. And all I've done is that. Murdering cops, they killed a baby, and then they shot a dog. We need less of these incidents to happen because for every good incident that happens, like with a cop, I think you need like 100 good cop stories to negate one bad cop story. Becca Shea says these cop stories lately aren't putting them in a good light. Birch says the dog story is way worse. That's impossible. The dog story is not way worse. You cannot say, you can't put a dog over like a baby. It's a 1-year-old little guy. Unless, of course, this is a way of telling me that it's worse because that little kid was black. Is that what you're suggesting? Are you suggesting that the dog is way worse because the 1-year-old child was a little black kid? I'd be so hurt if you did that. Bert says, I didn't say that at all. I know you didn't say it, but I was just asking. So let's say then, Birch, a little 1-year-old white kid got shot. Is that worse than the dog getting shot? Yes or no? You have to say no. If you don't say no, I am forever going to call you Birch the racist. Wait a minute. You said yes? You're saying that if the white kid, a white 1-year-old got shot, that is worse than a dog? Wait a minute. You're fucking me up here. Or are you saying shooting a dog over any person, regardless of race, is worse? That has to be what you're saying, right? I think you answered incorrectly and now are going to be known as Birch the racist. Bert says dogs are harmless in every way. You fucking moron. It's a 1-year-old baby, you fuck-face cock. What kind of sick fuck would suggest that a 1-year-old is not harmless in every way? Bread Bull Brain Chris is here. He says, oh boy, what did I just walk in on? Well, why are you so late, God damn it? Birch the racist says, God, I love getting easy going. You asshole. You know, that's starting to become like a thing with you sick fucks to try to intentionally upset me. Alan does the same damn thing. Alan says, God damn it, Easy, I'm going to drive off the road again. Alan has a tendency to find some of these things funny, these moments funny, and supposedly when he starts to giggle, the vehicle he's driving winds up like 2 wheels off the road or halfway in the ditch or some shit. All right, David says dogs over people. I do not agree with that. I guess it depends on what the 1-year-old had done to me recently. I think the worst thing about the puppy dog getting shot in Los Angeles was that mom of dog was sobbing while the cops just were all staring there like, hey, what's going on? Anyway, I have no idea how I got onto this topic. None. And I think that that's going to be the type of show it's going to be for the rest of today and tomorrow. Badger says, where do you rank hamsters, Easy? Very high. Very high. You have to understand what I did to that hamster when I had to euthanize it on my own many, many years ago, decades ago. That was done because of the hamster was ill, and it was in very deep pain, and I had to do that. Megan says you were like a failed Kevorkian. Becca Shea says that poor hamster. Megan says, but it also got to go on an amusement park ride or go to an amusement park. Yeah, I don't know. By the way, how is your hamster, Megan? You, what's his name? Pablo or Juan or something like that? Jose? I forget. I think it's something like that. You recently got a hamster. I know it's a boy because you were fixated on its balls. George? But it's Hispanic, so Jorge. That's Jorge, right? Jorge. Glad to hear that. All right, what else did I have for you? In addition to the catastrophe that was Q100 today, I'm always excited about who are these free beers. I want to get into this story
a few weeks ago
about flock cameras. Who sent this to me? Somebody sent this to me. That is David. What the fuck? This is like the second or third of these little tsetse flies that are flying around here. What the fuck? David V. Sent this to me. Various communities have these flock cameras, which records whatever, parking lot, I guess playground in one of these cases. People don't like these. People don't like these flock cameras because they feel like it's an invasion of their privacy. This is a piece called "The Flock Camera Leak is like Netflix for stalkers." Before I get into that, Alan writes, wait a minute, you take your dogs to the vet over basically nothing, and Pooh Bear has to beg you to take her in to the doctor. First of all, when I take my dogs to the vet, I don't take them in for basically nothing, asshole. It's always something, dick. Second of all, when it comes to Pooh Bear, when she was ill, yes, that did happen, where she was in pain. And I did say, go back to bed. 2 hours later, she said, you either take me to the hospital or I'm calling 911. I'm like, okay. Then I took her in, and I'll never make that mistake again, so you can fuck off.
using a commercial search. A few weeks ago, using a commercial search engine, I very easily found the administration interfaces for dozens of flock safety cameras. I shared this information with 404 Media, and with John Gaines' help, that number quickly grew to nearly 70. None of the data or video footage was encrypted. There was no username or password required. These were all completely public-facing for the world to see, and some of them still are. You don't have to.
So while he's talking, you're seeing video of just random street with people walking down a path or whatever.
Be an expert to find and gain access to this. You don't even have to type anything in to see every single person, vehicle, and activity that took place in these locations in the last 31 days.
Okay, now this guy's trying to make it seem like this is sinister, whatnot. The only thing I find about this is it's interesting. Like, I don't care that there's flock cameras everywhere and that people can find out about me, because they really can. And that's the eye-opening thing on this whole piece, is that these cameras are everywhere. And I think people use these, law enforcement uses these to police, to do solid police work.
You wanted to watch this footage live in real time or look at footage from a month ago, you could just point and click your way to it like you were watching Netflix. You could even open up the live streams in VLC or cast it to a television. Making any modification to the cameras is illegal, so I didn't do this, but I had the ability to delete any of the video footage or evidence by simply pressing a button. I could see the path.
So what that means is if Pellerito is at my house and he happens to be on a flock camera, and there's video of him jacking his cock on the front lawn, he could go in there and delete that.
That's where all of the evidence files were located on the file system, and I could see their hashes and signatures. Some of the devices we saw were the familiar-looking Falcon cameras that you see all over the country, but the majority of these were Flock's new Condor cameras, which are...
These the ones that, like, people in my community, I keep hearing about this, where those commie hippies on Reddit are like driving over these cameras that are on the side of the road because they don't want Big Brother. And I love Big Brother. I want more Big Brother.
Designed to detect and track people. They're PTZ cameras, meaning pan, tilt, zoom. And they quite literally use AI to zoom in and follow you around whether you're a person of interest or not.
That's so cool. Another reason why I love AI.
Just the time that it took to count and verify these vulnerabilities, I saw a family in North Carolina load their infant and a bunch of merchandise in a Lowe's parking lot.
I wonder if we have footage of the Mississippi Walmart where the cops decided they were going to shoot that 1-year-old little boy.
And I suppose one could cross-reference their license plate with the Park Mobile data breach and find out exactly where the garage is that will store these new fancy tools. I watched a man leave his house in the morning in New York. I watched a woman jogging alone on a forest trail in Georgia. This trail had multiple cameras, and I could watch a man rollerblade and then take a break to watch rollerblading.
I love how this dude sets it up with the sinister music
on his phone. How? Because the camera's AI automatically zoomed in on it. Just like it zoomed in on a couple arguing at a street market in Atlanta.
That might. Hey, we could go back, and maybe we can find video of a certain former radio producer punching some chick in the face randomly.
Arguing at a street market in Atlanta. So what? They're still anonymous, right? No, they're not. Within 2 minutes of open source intelligence using a commercial facial recognition engine, I found out that one of them just finished medical school and the other is dealing with chronic...
This is awesome. Let me back that up. I want you to hear what he just said again.
Just like it zoomed in on a couple arguing at a street market in Atlanta. So what? They're still anonymous, right? No, they're not. Within 2 minutes of open source intelligence using a commercial facial recognition engine, I found out that one of them just finished medical school and the other is dealing with chronic irritable bowel syndrome.
This is great. This is chronic irritable bowel syndrome. This is how we caught the J6 fucks. Now, Trump pardoned them all because he's an asshole, but who gives a shit?
The couple also just had a baby last year, and they have a pretty concerning debt-to-income ratio. Oh. I also know that they drove over 45 minutes from their address in the suburbs to attend church in Atlanta that morning, and then they checked out this market and bought a sweater. I watched a law enforcement officer and ambulance escort a man having a mental health crisis in Iowa. I know this because the Cedar Rapids Police Department
I thought they were going to say outside of Bob's Barn in Lake Odessa.
contains a public database of every single emergency call in the city, as well as daily arrest reports with individuals' names, addresses, ages, and genders. Listen, I know that I'm being creepy right now, just saying these...
No, I don't think you are. First of all, this is not creepy. This is outstanding.
...words out loud nauseates me. But I'm trying to show you just a fraction of the information that
okay, this is a sky is falling, pearl clutching, hippie fuck. That's what this is.
Anyone in the world with access to a commercial search engine has had regarding...
Is a commercial search engine Google? I mean, can we look this up? Or is that different? Why can't I type? All right, it is. Now, I'm not going to go through it right now and try to make it happen.
Anyone who attended this market or walked on this trail in the last 31 days. And it gets worse. Here's an exposed flock safety camera permanently pointed at a playground near the Bay Area in California, openly and publicly broadcasting both live and archived video footage of young children playing unattended.
Yeah, so what?
Again, just saying this stuff out loud feels so incredibly wrong.
It's not. It's not wrong at all. It's eye in the sky in case one of these kids gets nabbed by a former Zaniac. You can just look at the flock camera. Who cares?
Me personally, the most impactful moment while validating these vulnerabilities was this.
Okay, now we got a music change, soft piano playing, and this dork is going to comment on what he sees here. It's the same playground, but a man is walking to like where those kids were swinging. Now, my first thought was we're going to see him like sniff the seat.
This resonated with me so much that I actually had tears welling up in my eyes. I've done this exact same thing so many times. I've seen a swing set in an empty park, looked around to make sure nobody was watching, and then just enjoyed the mindless motion that connected me to a simpler time.
Okay, this almost made you cry? How? How much of a Nancy are you? I mean, I'm not going to say that I wouldn't do that. I mean, if I had time to kill and there was a swing there, I might get on the swing and swing a little if I can fit and hit my fat ass in there. But I was like, oh, I'm crying. That guy's on a swing. He's having so much fun. Shut up, pussy.
This isn't something that most grown men want to be seen doing. The experience requires one to have a moment that is devoid of judgment. It's healthy escapism at its finest. And I realized that it's likely that this man didn't know that he was being recorded, and he probably...
Telefist with a comment. He says, yeah, these are public spaces. When cameras are being placed in your house, then you have to start worrying. And that's not going to happen. It's not. And I don't want to hear this. You don't know. You don't know. Patrick says, what a pussy. Alan says, shut up, Greg. Becca Shea says, anybody could look you up, see how much you make, and then use your identity to commit fraud. I think that part of it is a step that might be a little bit harder than you think. David says, this is great. Good luck getting away with anything. Bread Bull Brain Chris says, 1984 is coming true more and more every day. Good. Bread Bull Brain Chris adds, pop hanging around a playground.
Wouldn't have done this if he had. This is a classic example of the Hawthorne effect, which is a change in an individual's behavior or choices when they know that they're being observed.
Okay, I didn't know there was a name for it. That means that I have utilized the Hawthorne effect. A little bit more on that.
Surveillance manufacturers love to talk about this effect when it deters crime. After all, someone isn't...
Yeah, okay, so the Hawthorne effect. People's behavior changes when they know they are being observed. Good. I witnessed this myself. We go back to my son's high school days. It was middle of 11th grade. And I sat down with the principal, and he said, so it's not even close. He's not going to graduate. He's doing so poorly. He goes, do you utilize Power Score? I go, what is Power Score? He goes, you don't know what that is? We sent a thing home. I go, look, I never saw it. I don't know what the fuck Power Score is. Because it shows like what's coming up in the assignments. It shows how he did. It shows what the teachers enter it in. It's a log. You can look at it and see what's going on. I go, oh, okay. Well, yeah, of course. Immediately I was like, Jim, okay, so you have these things due. Give me an update. Like flipping a switch, that little fucker was dominant from that point to the end of his high school career. And he more than graduated. He made it no problem. He was like a juggernaut. It was a perfect example that you can, because they start keeping track of that shit in 9th grade. So all of 9th grade, all of 10th grade, half of 11th grade, total disaster. He knew I was checking up on him. Suddenly, Jim's crushing it. It was effortless. I go, you're this guy. You're smart as shit, just doesn't want to do it. You're lazy. And you're not going to do it unless if you know that I'm looking at you. That was awesome. That was the last success he had academically. Then it was a firm graduation into fake solar system projects. Tophus says that video is a big nothing burger. I 100% agree with you. So, but David sent it to me, and he wrote, please keep talking about this. And it's like, look, I don't remember ever talking about it. Now, that's not to say that I have. I might have referenced this a time or two. Or maybe this is spam. I don't know. But I sure do find it interesting. I didn't even know that this existed. I am so happy that these cameras are here.
As likely to break into a car that's parked near a camera. But what they don't talk about is how it deters escapism. People are less likely to sing or dance or practice an accent or a cartwheel when they know that they're being watched. But
Says you. I do all sorts of stupid shit when people are looking at me.
escapism is often required for a lot of things. For example, when you learn an instrument or practice a skill for the first time, or even practicing line delivery for a YouTube video. The footage of the man swinging was powerful to me because it made me realize
because you're a pussy.
Exactly why I have such a visceral objection to mass surveillance. It imposes on our right to find our own identities without judgment. And as some
Hey, I'm over here finding my own identity. Butt out.
Someone whose identity and success is
Look, here's the guy dancing with ducks. Well,
to ample
nothing
amount
wrong with that.
of escapism.
Playing
This
guitar
is a hill that I am
with shit on his head. Here he is at some. That's a place where Alec Baldwin shot that chick.
willing to die on.
Whoa.
All right.
What's that?
I am not spending another time on this cock. But I do want to see those cameras. I love the cameras. Tova says, yeah, I would do more stupid shit in public if I knew some schmuck was looking at me. Oh, yeah. God damn. Anytime I can be the center of attention. Like, I have, no lie, when I've been driving around, let's say Grand Rapids back in the day, I used to go downtown a lot. I don't go downtown hardly at all now, except for like a hockey game or a basketball game. But if I happen to see the old shooting video from the corner live news team, I'm going to park. I'm going to walk behind the shot. I'm going to wave. I'm that guy. When I said that was the end of his academic excellence, Chris said, and a child shortly after. Yes. Tophus, okay, David says, asshole of the day, this guy. Yeah, I think there's potential there. All right. Okay, I have a number of great sponsors that are helping make this show like a thing, and I'm always so thankful for them. Who do I have today? It's a Thursday, right? I failed to mention that my friends at Impact Power Sports are the sponsor of the studio. Golf carts made by Yamaha and Solana, the two top names in the industry. Solana's a little less pricey, and you can get more info at impactpowersportsmi.com. You can have your cart tricked out, or you can buy it off of their showroom floor as is, whatever you want. ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, you name it, at Impact Power Sports. Get more info at impactpowersportsmi.com. I had an itch to get a side-by-side the other day because I would just love towing that thing up north with either my truck or the fraud bus and on a trailer, and then just get ready for fun. Northern Michigan is home for so many great places to go off-roading. I'd have to get an off-road vehicle sticker, which is another way they get you. It's like a license to tear up the dirt roads. You can get one at Impact Power Sports. Thursday, August 20 to Saturday, August 22 is the Tie-Dye Festival. If you are in West Michigan, you know about Howard City. It's to the north of Grand Rapids. It is very close to a hard-living line, but it's cool. It's at a place called Burley Park. 3 days of music, food, drink, any other illicit substances that you do, perhaps an orgy, not by me, and fun. I will be there for the entire event. Well, I take it back. I'll be there Friday and Saturday. I will not be there Thursday. No plans to be there yet on Thursday. And I'll be emceeing all the great acts. The best part of this incredible event is it's free. That is unheard of. A free festival. Free festival with free camping. So basically, you bring what food you want to bring. You take a couple of days off, and you hang out with all these amazing acts that are performing for you. It's like a local version of Woodstock, except you don't need a ticket to get in. You can look up Tie-Dye Fest to get more information, but 3 days, there's like 35 acts that are going to be appearing on stage for Tie-Dye Fest 2026. This was the place where Amanda took two in the stink by those cousins. I forget the guys' names. Now, we said initially that they were her cousins, but they weren't. They are cousins. Now, I don't know if that's going to be like happening again. If that happens, where there's a moment where that exact scenario is taking place, I need to be witness to that. Okay? I'm going to go full cuck on two in the stink at the Tie-Dye Festival. Megan says, what is the most HLL name? Are you referring to like the artist? I don't know. I could probably look that up. Yeah, we got a bunch. On Thursday of the event, the band's playing our Brian's Suitcase Experience. I think that's your husband. Brian's Suitcase Experience opens up the entire event. The Indeed Band after that. And then Lil Big Pimp will be performing. Friday, the Cheater Bees, the Inner Chamber, Daniel Staggs, Nathan Walton, Forged in Blue, Lost Magic, Lost in Blue. So you got Forged in Blue and then Lost in Blue. Dan Sprick and Freewheelin', Whiskey Bound, Bleed the Water, The Pice Project, and True Burn. Saturday, the Just Jammin' Guys, Bodine, not Bodean. That's the Bodines, not the same. This is Bodeen. The John Lip Band, Aaron Monroe. This is my favorite name. Tipsy in the Kickstands. Doc and the American Revival Band, Hand of Doom, the Swinehearts, the Next, Hand of Giants, the Nobodies, and Steve Reeds and Company. I have only seen or heard the Next and Steve Reeds and Company. Both are tremendous. Vendor Alley, free camping, food, all two in the stink, all for the love of the music. There you go. 10 years. They got it down. Mike and the Stalkers. No Wayland. Maybe you don't know Piano Finger Banger. Wayland is no more. The band has gone their separate ways. It had gotten down to basically just Phil and Mitchell. And there came a point when they announced not that long ago, they said, yep, that's it. I think Mitch is doing a lot of fun things on social media. All right, hairbrush break. It's moving on me, and I can't accept it. You see, it's so floofed that it requires maintenance to look the way I need it to look. Like the amount of, you know how like in, did you ever see the movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? You know, George Clooney, he's a Dapper Dan man. That's kind of like me with my hair products. If I don't put the hair products in the hair, it's ridiculous. All right, that is Act 1 of the podcast. Act 2 is available right after this one. Go check it out. What are you doing? Don't miss a second of it. Thank you so much.